So, Age of Ultron. Driving and reviewing. Let's see if I can do this. This movie was awesome. I really liked it. I did. A little loud. Let's try not to get a copyright strike if we can. I'm actually very impressed. A big problem I had with the first Avengers was that despite how fun it was, how enjoyable it was viewing it that first time in the theater with three very good friends. I won't trade that experience for anything. But you're not really left with a lot to chew on. You're not really left with a lot beyond how fun it was. And I guess it comes down. I've had this debate with a lot of friends of mine. And I've argued both sides of it, actually. Sometimes, that was weird, you just need to have fun with a movie in order for it to be good. And other times, it's nice for a movie to be fun, but then also, have a little more going on beyond the funness. For the movie to, be not necessarily, saying something. It doesn't necessarily have to be something deep. I gave a pass to, what was it called? Project Almanac earlier this year simply because it had a very basic message. And in addition to wanting to show a crazy time travel story about a bunch of kids building a time machine and then going and living their dream versions of their lives, it also was about a kid learning the consequences of your actions and how even, there's some things you just can't undo. Mistakes happen. And, you just have to live with them. You have to roll with the punches. And even that basic of a message was enough for me to like a movie that, not a lot of other people liked. And, it's still not a great movie. It hasn't sat with me well, but I still liked it. But this movie, though, it's got a little more going on with it than the first Avengers did, in all the right ways, in all the good ways. Like, every character kind of has a thing going on, and it's not like in the first one where they're like, wait, crap, what do we do with Hawkeye? He's just a guy with a bow. I don't know. He gets brainwashed, and then he's got to make up for the fact that he got brainwashed. No, every character has their thing. Every character has their reason for being there, or their own little contribution. Even though there's more characters in this one than in the first one, none of the characters feel forced. Whereas in the first one, they did sometimes feel forced, like Hawkeye and Black Widow battling out on, Hawkeye was up in the building sniping and Black Widow was down in the streets, but Black Widow felt a little tacked on because this felt above her. And, the movie made it work, so it kind of looked real, but a person like her in a situation like that probably wouldn't walk away from it unscathed. And here, there was a big battle moment, where everyone's coming in to where the Avengers are, but she isn't alone. She's with her entire team, and they're all just kind of taking it on piece by piece. So, or she's with Hulk all the time, or it just makes sense. Things just worked better, and that's a really a good way to say this movie. Everything just kind of worked better, and I don't want to hate on the first Avengers too much, because it's not a bad movie. It's just a $200 million empty fun fest, and that's really my issue with it. It just felt empty, whereas this one, there's more going on to it. Whereas the more I watch the first Avengers, I find myself paying less and less attention during the parts when Tony Stark, he's snarky, when Tony Stark isn't being awesome, or when Hulk isn't smashing, guys in the face. I really find myself just not paying attention. Like most of the first act of the first Avengers, I really just kind of tune in and out of when I watch it these days. The big fight on the carrier, I just kind of tune in and out of these days. But I find I think with more viewings of this one, with more viewings of Age of Ultron, I have a feeling that I'll stay tuned. I'll still be invested, because there's more going on than just when's the next time they're going to punch a guy in the face. And I don't really want to spoil what it is. I mean, you could probably figure out what it is. It's an AI movie. There's only so many different things you can do with them, and oh my god, it is May. It is May 1st, and I have seen 3 movies in 2015 about AI. Chappie, Ex Machina, and now this. Now Avengers Age of Ultron. And then later this year, we have Terminator Genesis, or Genesis, or however the hell you're supposed to pronounce that, coming out. So that's 4 movies in 2015 about AI. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mostly liked Chappie-ish. I also mostly liked Ex Machina. I liked this, mostly. I'm not looking forward to Terminator Genesis at all. I would actually bet a lot of money right here, right now, that movie is not only going to be very bad, that it is probably going to flop at the box office. Any takers out there, let's get a thing going. I'm willing to do it. But, is that just going to be the theme of this year? Is there more AI movies that are coming out that I'm not aware of, or are all these just like a weird response to Ultron? Did movie studios hear a couple years ago that Avengers, the movie that made $1 billion, God, I suck at talking right now. It's 3 a.m. What do you expect? But in response to them hearing that Avengers sequel was going to be about an evil AI, did everybody just green light their own AI thing? Like, is Ex Machina a thing because of Age of Ultron, or is that just a coincidence? Is Terminator Genesis the newest reboot for the Terminator series coming out because of Age of Ultron? I mean, I can see Chappie being its own thing by itself, because that's just kind of Blomkamp style. His previous movie feeds into his new one, and anyway. Or, Chappie might also be a product. It probably is. I'm rambling. It's 3 a.m. But I am wondering if there's another AI movie out there that I don't know about coming out for 2015. We'll see. It's just a lot of AI movies. But this one, I mean, back to the characters. Like I said, there were a lot of new ones. And the newcomers this time around are the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I can't remember their actual names right now, but their code names are Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And then another one that I'm reluctant to talk about, because what happens with it is sort of a spoiler, but I am going to go ahead and say that it was my favorite character in the movie. At least of the... I would say he was my favorite character, because I didn't really... When I heard that he was going to be in the movie, I didn't really know what to expect, because I knew very little about it. I've watched I've watched all of both the Avengers cartoons on Netflix, and through that, I've gotten to know this character, and while the one on the show was just okay, the one here in this movie was actually really good. And he really ties into all the stuff I'm talking about, how the movie has a little more on its bones than I kind of expected it to have. And that's a very nice thing. It's very nice to see a character that I really wasn't... I mean, I was just kind of lukewarm to my first experience with it, and then getting this new experience with it, with meeting this character that I didn't really know much about, and then really liking it. I think the performance behind the character is really good. I think the design behind the character was really, really clever, and again, I don't want to give too much away because it is a spoiler who this guy is and where he comes from and how he ends up here, but the surprise was a good surprise. Let's just say that. But then we have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who I had mentioned a second ago, and they're good. They really are. It's funny, last year in Godzilla, the people who are now playing brothers and sisters played lovers and they made out. And the second guy from Kick-Ass, the movie, is playing Quicksilver. Whoa, my God! But they weren't forced, and they had a very nice little arc tied in with the movie. A predictable arc by the trailers. They really gave away that this is what these characters were going to do. They were going to start here and they were going to move here. And that's annoying, but trailers are spoiling everything these days. It's unbelievably shitty and misguided and ill-conceived by studios as that is, to have trailers giving away everything they're giving away. What are you going to do? Honestly, they're either going to continue to do it, or they're going to wake up one day and be like, wow, we don't know how to do trailers anymore, and then things will change. Like, again, getting back to Terminator, if you saw that new trailer, why did you show that? Why would you put that in the trailer? That could have been one of the biggest what the hell just happened moments of 2015, and you went and ruined it in the trailer for no reason. Whoever made that decision, you need to consider your life choices more carefully. But, little tirade aside there, getting back to Ultron, go see it. You know, what's funny is you actually really don't need to know the other movies all that well. In fact, if you've seen the first Avengers, I'd say you're ready to go for this movie. You don't need to see Guardians. You don't really need to... Guardians would help, but I mean, it's not essential. So, those are the two movies you need to really see. Guardians and Avengers. And that will give you really everything you need to know to see this movie. Like, because people really know who these characters are now, right? I mean, maybe you need to see, like, Cap 1, Thor 1, Iron Man 1, I don't know. But I think Avengers would suffice to get you to a position where you could watch this movie and not be too lost. Especially considering how if you watch The Incredible Hulk, you'll be wondering, wait, when did Edward Norton turn into Mark Ruffalo? Is that another Hulk ability? You won't like me when I'm acting differently. I don't know, it's 3:10 in the morning. I'm gonna go to bed the moment I get home. So definitely check this movie out before I get too ranty here. If you really aren't a fan of the style of these Marvel movies, it might not be for you. Because I know there are people out there, I personally know people that they just want more, and I get why they want more. I really want a lot more too. Like I've liked most of the Marvel movies. I'm not gonna really call any of them bad, but none of them are really great. I mean, there's a couple of them that are great, but a lot of them are really overrated or just... Like the first Avengers, it's good, it is, but it just really needed something else. It really needed just more going on with it. And this movie has that little extra thing going on with it, and that's pretty cool. Sorry, I'm pulling into my driveway here. 212, this is just a test. And then 212, this is just a test. I like the Beastie Boys. You got a problem with that? Stop watching my show. Here, now you can actually see me kind of clearly. And I'm sorry to CinemaSins Jeremy and to Midnight screenings with Brad Jones and company if people get upset about me borrowing their style for a second. I wanted to get this video out quick and easy, and I'm kind of having fun doing this, so now I understand why you do it. Hopefully I won't do too many of these, but as a one and done, I'm really liking this right now. I don't know if people will still be watching 13 minutes and 16 seconds into it, but hey, whatever. I'll just upload it and watch as much of it as you want. The fact remains, Age of Ultron is a really good way to start off the summer season that is, I'm kind of being lukewarm towards right now. I'm excited for some stuff. Ant-Man got me. Surprisingly enough, you know, I didn't like Vision in the Marvel cartoon stuff I was watching, and I liked him in this movie. I wasn't crazy about Ant-Man and Earth's Mightiest Heroes, but this trailer, it's getting me excited for it, partially because it's not the same Ant-Man. I don't like Hank Pym, or at least not the way he was put into Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The guy was one note, crybaby, and I don't know, I just didn't like him. But it's a different person being Ant-Man, Scott something. Yeah, can I get more light? Yeah, it's not doing anything. Yeah, whatever. It's Paul Rudd's playing some guy named Scott, and I like that. I think it's going to be interesting. The fact that he's a thief is a lot more interesting, I think, than Ant-Man's persona of being the pacifist. Don't hurt him, guys. Let me build a 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th. I will eventually build a prison that can hold people and nobody will ever get out of. There's no need to hurt the bad guys. They just need help. That's true, but sometimes the bad guy is a bad guy and they have something coming their way that they need to take. All there is to it. But again, I like this. I like where this Ant-Man movie seems to be going. So maybe Marvel in this third wing of stuff is really going to kind of turn it all around. And like really, I mean, there's nothing to turn around. The movies are fine. They just, they're just not as amazing as they could be. And what kind of complaint is that? I'll admit that. What is that nitpick? What am I trying to say by saying that? I don't even know. Maybe it's just me and being too cynical. But this movie's fun, so you guys should check it out. I really think that's all I have to say. This is kind of weird, just like free talking like this about this movie that I just saw. But I liked it. I like doing this. I like that I get to like in a summer movie for having more going on than just big fun action with lots of funny jokes and snarky one-liners. I like that this movie had some brains. I think this is a very good movie for Joss Whedon to go out on. Very, very good. It's going to be interesting to see what the Russo brothers do with Infinity Wars. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't want to get into spoilers. There's no need to do that, and I've been ranting for 16 minutes. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here just by saying that I really liked Age of Ultron, and I hope that you do too.